Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 566 for the week of November something.
You just need to say Thanksgiving
21st.
week, man. It was Thanksgiving
21st.
week. Doesn't matter what the date is. It's Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is this Thursday. Forgot that was coming up. November 21st, 2022. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
And Brock Sager.
And Brock. Just the old boys, the Comic Conspiracy here.
It's a throwback episode.
Now look, before we get too far into this.
Oh shit.
Before we get too far into this, we got a couple things to talk about here. First of all, last episode, apologize for Toby and his potato internet. I just it was impossible. Unlike the 9th time he tried to reconnect to the podcast, I told him don't even bother, and I can't merge this. I can't do it because it drops and adds a new file, and like I just can't. So, sorry, Toby. Fix your potato internet, and we'll get you on. Hold on.
Wouldn't it be better to say string can
internet? Was a
internet?
little low. Oh, it's potato, man. His potato internet.
His potato. His potato.
So, yeah, Toby, fix your internet, and you're welcome back on the Comic Conspiracy anytime. Second, boy, howdy. We had a rambunctious crowd in the Facebook page talking about our Black Panther review. And look, you know.
Oh, I didn't even look.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You don't need to. I think we were pretty, like, you know, for a bunch of mostly white people talking about the movie, I didn't feel like there was much wrong. I'll just say that with the comments we had. There's criticism of the movie, but that was really it. So, I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know. Didn't feel like we said anything out of place. Some people seem to disagree. Let us know what you think. I thought it was fine. Look, having a problem with the movie's fine. I believe we said the biggest problem we had with the movie was all the white people because they were totally out of place in the movie and they shouldn't have been in there, right? Like it was just like the connection to the Marvel universe just was like the most unimportant part of that movie.
Oh yeah, I would have I still was like if they could just take out Ross, whatever is he shows up to just kind of be there for a second, fine. But like I didn't need any of the other shit because it's like I'm not worrying about it connecting. I'm like this, like it's too much.
Yeah, you know, and I had complained, you know, about how a lot of people find like, oh, you know, the post-credit scenes are the most important part of the movies, and it's the only thing everyone talks about. But, you know, if every movie and show now has to lead into a TV show, or if every movie now has to lead into a TV show spinoff, you're like, man, like, these movies, they're not none of these products are a product to themselves. They're just a link in the chain to something else, and I don't like that, you know? I think, you know, whatever you think about the quality of Black Adam, it really was just to itself until the end. You know, you have the Superman stuff at the very end, but that's just like a small tease. I mean, it's Marvel. I don't like that people spent more time thinking about that than the rest of the movie, but I'd prefer that to just every movie having to be connected to another thing and every show having to be connected to another thing. Like nothing stands on its own. And I don't know. It could be fun when characters show up, but yeah, I don't need everything to lead to everything. I'm kind of concerned for DC that they're going to too closely try to copy what Marvel does and start off on the wrong foot. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. You know, something like the Batman. It was great. It was his own thing, start to finish. Now they would take one of those characters, Penguin, spin it off his own TV show. Go for it. That's cool, right? All right, that's neat.
But they didn't spin it off at the end of the movie,
right? As far as we know, yeah. There's no post-credit scene that leads into the Penguin TV show. Yeah, you know, if there's, you know, if you know, the little building blocks in phase 1 and phase 2 of Marvel where they had the little thing at the very end of the post-credit scene was fun. But now it just feels like it's a lot. It's just, that's all I'm saying. I'm going to still watch all the movies. I didn't hate it at all. I didn't hate the movie. I didn't hate Black Panther at all. It's just a lot. And I think everyone feels that way.
Oh, no,
Not even just
no.
about Marvel, about DC, about everything,
No,
right? I mean,
people are
there's just a
getting
lot of
fatigued.
stuff with everything. And this is not a Marvel or DC or comic book thing, really. There's just a lot of everything. So, like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I feel like, when I said to Kevin about like the monkey's paw is fully closed, the fist is fully closed. Like we've gotten so much more than we possibly could have, and it's like God, I wouldn't mind a little pullback.
Well,
It's not going to happen. It's just not going to
it's
happen.
one of those things where you made you did the breadcrumb formula when you needed to do the breadcrumb formula, right? Like when you needed to build something up like that. Now we have it where we've had these characters come together, and now we kind of it's kind of like, well, if something needs to be left alone, then leave it alone. Like Wakanda Forever can be off on this Marvel adjacent thing, and stuff that happens in it can be recognized in other movies, but we didn't need that shoehorn of Contessa in there with like, look, we're attached more to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Thunderbolts and stuff, and it's like, I don't need that, right? Especially for a movie of that, of what Wakanda Forever was, which is really just kind of a.
It felt very shoehorned in, yeah.
Like to me, that's what made that's what was bad about the movie, because you took something that is we're paying respects to Chadwick Boseman. We're mourning the death of Black Panther together as a community group. We're dealing with these themes of like grief and stuff, which we've already been dealing with like in WandaVision and all that. So like, I like that they're branching out into bigger topics and all that, but this movie didn't need to have the MCU treatment. It didn't need to be like breadcrumbed in. Like
this is the one they really shouldn't have done it with, because it really takes away from the story they had.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I like, I don't know why people freak out about anything. So you say one thing, they think you're going one direction. So I was not meaning any intent of malice towards anything.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. But what are you gonna do? Anyway, now something that does now, of course. We do have some news to catch up. Last couple weeks,
steaming pile of shit. That's what it is.
Last couple weeks, we've had some bit of news and
some of the best news ever
covered. Some big news, some good things we're going to talk about here. Got some comic books to talk about. Now, comic books love to cross over and tie in and tie out and have 12 things come after the ending of the thing. That's comic books. That's just how it is. So we're going to start with DC here, because DC, what I've been waiting for, we knew something was coming, but we now have the first part of what is known as Dawn of DC Comics post Dark Crisis, Death Metal, Dark Crisis,
pick something dark, Blackest Night, dark shit.
Yeah,
like,
sure, yeah.
Dark Crisis has became Infinite and then Dark, and then
yeah. There's been a lot of Batman titles out there. I don't know if you've noticed that. A lot of Batman books, a lot of miniseries. Really?
There's been a lot of Batman.
Yeah.
Hashtag Batman is California. Okay.
There has. But we've heard some rumblings that some classic things were returning to DC post Dark Crisis.
Batman and the Outsiders.
And we have our first batch of books. Basically, it seems like every month we're getting at least one or at this point it seems like 2 books a month that are going to come out starting shortly after Dark Crisis, that are going to be mostly not Batman related, and characters that haven't had their own books in a little while, or in some cases quite a while, and some very big names, some very cool creative teams. I'm going to go through the list here of what we have. Some of this is still
bringing it up right now. So
yeah, some of this is still a work in progress. So some of the creative teams are not fully locked down, but obviously we've got time. Some of this goes through June and July. As we get into the next couple months, I'm sure DC will announce their July through December plans, because it's a year-long initiative. This is not a reboot. This is not a relaunch. Nothing's happening post Dark Crisis that's going to restart the universe or anything like that. They're not renumbering new or ongoing books. Nothing like that. Don't freak out. But if you've noticed, DC for the last couple of years has kind of greatly reduced their output. Although they put out a lot of big books, the actual number of like distinct ongoing and regular titles has dropped pretty significantly. So this is a push by DC to bring back a lot of their publishing and get back to sort of where, close to where they used to be. So we have, starting in March, we have The Unstoppable Doom Patrol by Dennis Culver and Chris Burnham, which comes out of Lazarus Planet. And so that's, again, Doom Patrol not had their own series in quite some time.
Like, the art on it looks fantastic.
Oh, Chris Burnham's fantastic. I love him.
Like,
he's very kind of like Frank Quitely style. Now, a lot of these books, I believe, with one exception, I believe Superboy, The Man of Tomorrow, the second book, is the only one actually listed as a miniseries. I believe.
Yeah, because it's the round robin title.
Yeah. I believe that one's the only one listed as a mini. I could be wrong. Now, look, some of these may only go 12 issues. Maybe they'll get axed. I don't know. I believe these are all considered ongoing titles. So, correct me if you see something wrong. April is Superboy, Man of Tomorrow by Kenny Porter and Janoy Lindsay, which is the DC Round Robin title. So that was the one that won their contest a couple months back. So excited to see that, and that's perfect timing because we're getting all the Return of Kal-El stuff in Superman. So good time to have that Superboy series come out at the same time. In April, also, Green Lantern Hal Jordan by Mariko Tamaki and an unnamed artist. So they're starting to work on that. Getting a Hal Jordan book back, which is good. We haven't had an ongoing Green Lantern book since 2018. Because the Morrison stuff, those were both like 12-issue minis.
Yeah.
So we've not had an ongoing... And that they had that Jon Stewart book, but again, that only lasted 12. I mean, I guess technically it's an ongoing, but it got axed, and it was really bad. Speaking of Jon Stewart, Philip Kennedy Johnson and another unknown artist will be launching Green Lantern Jon Stewart. Hopefully course-correcting a little bit from that terrible Jon Stewart book that they had out through 2021, 2022. Really disliked that book. Oh, it was so bad. I don't know if did you read that, Brock?
What was it called?
It was just called Green Lantern. It was terrible.
Yeah, I remember reading it, and I was like,
the art was awful.
I was like, okay, and then the art went bad, and I was like, all right, the writing's still okay, and then the art went better, and then the writing went shit.
Well, so they had a backup. The backup story was Joe Marin, first sector, the first sector Green Lantern. And that was okay. Like, the backup was pretty decent, actually. But it was, they basically, those two stories converge at the end. But the Jon Stewart stuff was bad. And Philip Kennedy Johnson's fantastic. So I'm really excited.
Like Mariko Tamaki and Philip Kennedy Johnson, I'm like, okay, like you have my interests. Like, so far I have at least 3 books that I will be checking out.
Yeah, Tamaki, Wonder Woman was pretty rough, but Detective was good. Her run of Detective was good, and Crushing Lobo was pretty fun. So some of her DC work's been pretty good. Starting in April, Green Arrow by Josh Williamson and Sean Ikise. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Izike. Yeah. There was a
spoiler here.
Yeah. I mean, Green Arrow's status is unknown as of the current issue of Dark Crisis. Let's just say that. Now this next one.
Yeah.
I have been asking, and Kevin has been asking, and I think we've all been asking for this. And it seems like DC may have heard our cries because. Now, this is not confirmed because we don't have a ton of info on this, but this seems like the book we've been asking for years. Batman the Brave and the Bold by a rotating all-star creative teams of Tom King, Mitch Gerrits, Gilliam March, Gabriel Hardman, Dan Mora, Rob Williams, and more. And what promises to tell core stories building out of Dawn to DC. That is the line they say about this book. Now, from the little bit of info we have on this, it appears to be what I've asked for years, and that is an ongoing anthology.
Yes,
by rotating creative teams, not an anthology with multiple stories in one book because those those always have difficult times in the U.S. market.
Yeah,
for the superhero books, this is like the classic Brave and the Bold, where it's Batman and Character X, And in the original, it was mostly the same creative teams for multiple for
Mhm.
long runs, especially I was Bob Haney wrote that for years and years. But this is going to be rotating creative teams telling stories with Batman and whoever, and hopefully DC allows them to just run wild and bring back and tell stories about a bunch of characters that have been around for a while, reintroduce a bunch of concepts, and use this book. Now I'm doing a lot of assumption here, but it seems like it. Use this book as a testing ground for creative teams and characters, and then launch stuff out of that, because it says it promises to tell core stories building out a Dawn of DC. So that seems to me like they're going to introduce stuff here and then expand on it outside of Brave and the Bold, which is exactly the book I've been asking for a very, very, very long time. So
Yeah.
please let this be the book.
Well, for me, it's like I'm like I see that Batman on the front of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're attaching Batman to sell it, but like
It's gore, sure, it's fine.
I'm like, all right, fine.
Like, another Batman book, Batman and the Creeper, Batman and Blue Beetle, Batman and Jonah Hex. Sign me up for like every single thing, right?
Well, it's you can get back to telling stories that, you know, are just either fun, address what's going on currently with the characters as they stand now, right? Because to me, that's what also core stories means, right? Like characters coming out of Dawn of DC will get like glimpses and see how they can get, like how they interact and stuff like that in where DC is at now. And if you branch off from that, you can branch off from that, right? Like, because I mean, there was a bunch of good stories. Like, there was a handful of really good stories out of that last Brave and the Bold run. You know, that, like, I think that's where things fall apart, is people just don't realize, like, we need something like that continuously.
Yeah. It gives them the ability to just test creators, test stories, test characters, and go from there. I really, really hope this is the book that I want it to be.
If they're really listening to us, I hope they reprint that Brave and the Bold issue where the girl, like a girl's night out. They'll need to do that as a facsimile, because that'd be a good one.
The 2000s one?
Yeah, the girl's night out one.
That's way too modern. They're not going to reprint that. I mean, it's a fun issue, but they're not going to reprint that.
They got to get to the fun stuff, man. Sometimes that's just how you grab people.
Was that?
I don't know if it was Straczynski.
Straczynski was writing that.
No, I think it might have been Straczynski. I think it's issue 88. Let me look it
up. Also, coming in May, a new Cyborg comic. Again, Cyborg has not had a new book since he had one at the very beginning of Rebirth, very briefly, I think.
Yes, he had
quite a few years. Yeah. Not quite ready to announce the creative team yet, but Cyborg's book is coming. Again, another one that I'm really looking forward to, and this is an odd creative team considering Shazam is getting his own book. Billy Batson's coming back, thank God, by Mark Waid and Dan Mora, the same creative team on World's Finest. And as far as I know, Dan Mora is going to also do World's Finest. He is drawing 2 books a month, which is unheard of these days. Dan Mora has done so much artwork in the last couple of years. I thought there's no way this guy's but I think he actually is doing. He's doing Once and Future. He's doing this. He's doing tons of covers. He's basically doing 2 books a month. So hopefully he can do it. It's just unheard of.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that Dan Mora's art style fits really well with Shazam and Billy Batson.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I'm super stoked just for that fact.
If it's not Shazam, give me a classic Teen Titans book.
Oh yeah,
like, Mora's art. Mora is one of the best artists at DC right now. He's what a pickup! What an absolute pickup by DC over the last couple of years. Locking him in. Mora's incredible. I'm so happy that they grabbed him, because he's right up there with God. They got a couple of these guys that are real kind of Cindy Jarrell, who's doing the Shazam book right now, the New Champions of Shazam. He's fantastic,
really good. New Champions.
His art's so good. They just have really classic, clean style. I love Dan Mora.
Oh, that Brave and the Bold issue is issue 33.
Yeah,
and it's by Michael Straczynski, J. Michael Straczynski, and art by Cliff Chang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm like, it's a solid issue. I really wish they would they would bring that back.
It's a great issue, but that's not a book they're gonna. I mean, it's a fun issue, but
Well,
I don't know. Maybe I may say.
I would say like it's one of those. It's a standalone, really solid book. Like it's like just a standalone story by itself.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, come on.
It's not important. That's the thing with the facsimiles. Their first appearances, they're something major.
Hey,
it's a good issue.
Ladies' Night is important. Okay, Ladies' Night is important.
We got Penguin is also getting a title now. Okay, so of course we're gonna get some Batman stuff. But look, whatever. But by Tom King. Oh, here's Tom King's next project. Can't wait.
Okay, so Danger Street, Penguin, Brave and the Bold. Let's go.
Yeah, and Stefano Guadiano. And that's coming out in June. And another creative team unannounced. They will be announcing soon. But Steelworks, which will feature both John Henry Irons and Natasha. So it's good to see another Superman book coming up. We are light on Superman titles, and now we will have 5 of them. Minis, obviously, right?
Yeah.
The John Kemp books a mini, and Superboy Man of Tomorrow is a mini, but at least. Getting back to where we should on Superman, multiple titles is good to see. So yeah, what a lineup. I mean, those are all must buys. Not a bad book in the bunch. Really excited to see DC's getting back some of their classic titles and getting quite a bit more non-Bat titles. Look, you got a couple in there, sure, but it's mostly not Batman. So I'm very happy.
Well, I think branching off, right? Like the pendulum needs to swing a different direction. Like it's been towards Batman for so long. I think that even as retailers, we're seeing like people just they're not getting things. Like they're like, oh look, Sword of Azrael. Oh look, Batman Audio. Oh look, Batman Nightfall. Oh look, like
some of those bottom ones are selling very poorly. And look, I think an Azrael book where there's significantly fewer Bat books probably would have a better chance of selling. An Azrael book in a sea of Batman books just gets completely drowned out. That Batman Audio Adventure book is now. I mean, it is the. I have, I think one. Although I think they're over at this point, so I don't think there's a Marvel comic I am currently ordering 0 copies of. But Batman the Audio Adventures, as of this last FOC, I've ordered 0 copies of the 3rd issue because we did not sell a single copy of number 2. Most people probably have no idea what this is. There's a comic book based on the 1930s style radio drama that they have on, I think it's just on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
That's like a classic radio drama that they do for Batman. I've not heard it. I've heard it's very good. But we don't need a comic based on that, right? So there's too much Batman. And what I've said to people at DC is very, very thing. I said, look, it's possible every Batman book might sell better than whatever an equivalent book you're going to launch is, but you are limiting the potential audience because there are some people, they don't want to buy Batman. Yeah. They want Green Lantern. They want Doom Patrol. They want Superboy, right? I mean, there are other characters out there. So you are doing a long-term disservice to your brand by limiting the characters you're publishing. You don't have to publish these books forever, but they need to come out and need to know DC has support for them. Marvel has done an incredible job over the last few years. Hey, look, there's a ton of X-Men books, there's a ton of Spider-Man books, but we consistently have all sorts of other characters getting titles. Some don't click, right? But the vast majority of them sell pretty decent because someone is going to want Shang-Chi. Mm-hmm. Someone's going to want this kind of like Z-list X-Men book, right? That's really disconnected. It's kind of his own thing. Silk has gotten a couple books. And yeah, Spider-Man adjacent, but she's got her own feel. She-Hulk, right? And, obviously a lot of the stuff that's tied to the MCU books, but there's stuff that doesn't. So, it would be crazy if we went another year and it was just Batman book after Batman book after Batman book. And they sell well. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. They do sell well, almost all of them. But but you need other flavors. You just can't have chocolate chip every day. Like you've got to have something else. You have to. It's not Batman comics. It's DC comics. They got everything. They got so many characters.
We might not need 31 flavors all at once, but we need more than one.
Yeah. Well, and here's what I've said is look, you have rotating arcs, you have rotating books, you start a couple a month and you get people to come in, and so when this book ends and this miniseries ends at 6, or this ongoing runs 18 issues and the sales are too low so it gets canceled, but you kind of have new books coming in the pipeline. You have this good flow of new content to keep people interested. The days of the 100 issue series are gone. No book sells that long. Things run for a year or two. And actually, really, if you look back, right, if you do look back, most comics actually have never run long. Books would run a year and get canceled, or 8 issues, 10 issues get canceled. Going back to the 50s and the 60s and 70s and 80s, this is always the case. You get a lot of books that run 20 or 30 issues. But, really not everything is an ongoing book. Getting 18 issues of a Hawkman series is actually about average, really. If you look back, there's been some longer ones, but the majority of them have been pretty short. So yeah, it's
Well, and I also think it's just what's the creative team, what's the passion behind the project, right?
Don't just put it out to put it out. Get someone that's got a plan.
Like the Poison Ivy book, right? That was slated as a miniseries, and they extended it to 12 because it fit.
That and Swamp Thing never should have been listed as miniseries. That's the problem, because they should have just said ongoing. And look, if they go 8, they go 8. If they go 25, they go 25.
But that Swamp
there's
Thing
no
was
reason
really
to give
good, though.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Both. I'm
waiting for the deluxe collection of the Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, they both of those creators, Ram V and G. Willow Wilson. I mean, they had something to say, right? So, and those books went well. They were much better than their, than whatever I'm sure that they thought.
And the artists on the book too really added to it. I can't remember the artist's name off the top of my head for Poison Ivy, and they're going to be at Fan Expo, so I'm like, ooh, need to check them out.
Yeah, I know the name. I just I don't remember their name.
But it's like when you have things that click and things that will work, let those stories go as long as those stories are naturally going to go. Like when if you have a concept that's just a 6-issue concept, then just go with it, right? But if you have a creative team that has kind of a vision, just let's see where this goes, right? Right for that 6, but if we can keep going, we'll keep going.
Yep. Other books coming out. What I thought could have been the death of Dark Horse a year or two ago. Boy, they are not messing around. They have locked up just about. I mean, they're just locking up people left and right for deals. After losing a ton of licensed books, I thought, man, Dark Horse is on their way out. But that's not the case, because they brought in Scott Snyder, and they're publishing all his Comixology titles. They brought in Brian Michael Bendis for all his Critter Realm books. They have also locked in Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is now doing a number of Critter Realm titles for Dark Horse. Mm-hmm. Flying a little bit under the radar, but they're selling okay. Matt Kindt has a bunch of series come up for Dark Horse. And he's always done stuff with them regularly, but now it's a little bit more official. Eric Powell, who does the Goon, who used to do stuff for Dark Horse, spun off Albatross, his own title, his own company, has brought it back, that stuff back to Dark Horse. So all Eric Powell's upcoming stuff is licensed, is going to be run through Dark Horse. Stan Sakai, who does Usagi Yojimbo, who was with Dark Horse for decades, after leaving, like Fantagraphics to Mirage to Dark Horse. I don't remember the exact flow, but he kind of moved around a bit, but was Dark Horse for years and years. Moved to IDW in a very shocking move, and now within only just a couple years is moving right back to Dark Horse.
Well, because IDW
for a new imprint.
What the fuck?
What? I don't know IDW. I don't know what IDW is doing, but now they just locked in yet another major creator and seemingly all of the upcoming content that James Tynion IV has published on Substack, all those books, all those graphic novels.
Yeah,
all
we talked about that. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to publish these?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Again, people thought Image, people thought Boom. It's going to Dark Horse. So, Tynion has all his upcoming books coming through Dark Horse.
It's funny how he still has competitive. Stuff. It's like the market starts to work and move and flow.
Yeah. I mean, he still has stuff at the other companies, but all that, I believe, all the stuff he's making for Substack going forward will be printed through Dark Horse. So that's a big get. Yeah,
and I know something that doesn't get a lot of attention that they have been putting out is like a lot of the unique studio stuff, which is I can't remember what his name. Hold on, I gotta grab it here. The Ryu Okupe, like a lot of that stuff.
What is this?
The unique studio stuff. Those the like Warrior Queen and there's like a couple of things like kid stuff.
Dark Horse.
Yeah.
I don't. Is it all? Is it? I know the comics, but I don't know them very well. Yeah, I mean, Dark Horse is a ton of imprints at this point, like a dozen at this, maybe more. And that's another. What's it called? Unique
Studios.
Unique Studios. Yeah.
So
they have a bunch of imprints. Publishing some pretty unique, no pun intended stuff. So.
But this stuff's been really, really solid. Actually, I keep forgetting to have you order me EXO, the Legend stuff. There's 2 more in this that I want to get. EXO, yeah. But no, like I've been I've picked the stuff up and it's really, really good. So,
no, Dark Horse is I thought was maybe circling the drain, but they've come back roaring. So, very good, very good. I've got some movie and TV news to talk about.
Save the best for last.
I'll assume I know what the best
is. What the best is. If you don't know what the best is, we're done.
Well, I'm assuming the best is not the upcoming Silk TV show, Silk Spider Society.
Oh, God.
Created by Sony, which will debut on MGM Plus.
What?
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. I was reading on this.
I thought it was going through Amazon.
Well, right. I was reading this on AIPT, one of the comic websites. It will originally debut on MGM Plus and then released globally on Amazon Prime. This is quoting from AIPT. The convoluted race of Sony's Marvel properties means the series will first have to debut on MGM Plus, which was previously Epix, which most of us never bothered with. So in 2023, it'll be called MGM Plus. But then it'll eventually go on to Amazon Prime. It's a little bit like Pennywise. I was talking to Leanne the other day. I was like, Pennywise? Oh, Pennyworth. No, that show's Pennyworth. Not Pennywise.
Pennyworth. What the?
Like that Batman's clown, Pennywise.
Oh shit.
The origin of Batman's butler, Pennyworth. It's on
Hulu.
What the hell is it? Was it on before with HBO?
No, I don't fuck.
No, it was very random.
I don't know.
Cable.
You like the internet is in front of us. Use it.
I'm not even looking. I can't remember.
Fine.
I don't care enough. So HBO Max now. That's all I need to know about.
Are you even watching it?
No. But that's what I mean.
Epix.
Like it's on.
It was on Epix.
Oh, that's MGM Plus. That's what that's going to be. That's what it's going to become. It's a very
MGM. Isn't that Bond? All the Bond movies.
Well, that's because I think that's part of the thing with Amazon, right? Didn't Amazon buy that? They're buying it? It's so confusing. I don't even know anymore.
I almost preferred it when we had a ton of different companies and you could associate IPs with certain studios. Now it's just Warner Brothers, Disney, or
Amazon and Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, at least the Silk show. Yeah, I'm surprised. I would have expected Silk to get a to get a movie, not a show. It seems like they're doing all these movies.
I really hope Silk doesn't have the same origin.
Yeah, she's got kind of a funky origin.
I wouldn't call it a funky origin. It's a very... What's the best way to describe it? Wild, crazy, animalistic origin.
Yeah,
Like, it was...
Why don't you explain it?
Oh, I don't want... what? This girl's trapped in a room, turned into a spider thing. She opens the room and she's horny for Spider-Man. Like, that's her origin. Like, she spends the majority of her first arc trying to hump him. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but that's the origin of it.
Yeah.
So when I saw that news, I was like, oh, God.
No, I'm sure it'll be different.
I mean, we'll see. Is it something you're going to watch?
Yeah, sure. Of course. Eventually, maybe. Probably.
Put it down there with Pennyworth or Pennywise.
Yeah, I'll get there. Yeah. I'll get to it. I'll get to it one day. Yeah, we'll see. I know some of this is kind of old. It's been lots of rumors, nothing official, of course. But James Gunn has been talking about some of the stuff. They're working on their plan for the DC universe for all the stuff going forward. And I did want to read this. I did want to read this tweet. I mean, this is from a few weeks ago, but I just think it's very, very funny. We didn't talk about this. He said, this is from James Gunn on Twitter. He said, opened up Twitter at the end of a long creative weekend to see the many tweets of hashtag Save Legends of Tomorrow and hashtag Release of the Ayer Cut. That's the Suicide Squad version, of course. And fan supports for other DC products over the years. The majority of these requests were enthusiastic and respectful. He goes on and says, we acknowledge you, the fans. We hear your different desires for a pathway forward. Very basically, it was 5 tweets being like, we're not fucking doing any of this shit. Sorry, Legends of Tomorrow. Sorry, Haircut. No. Okay. It's all done. We're going to do all new stuff. Fuck all of you. Like, no. Sorry, any CW thing. Sorry, Ayer Cut. Sorry, Snyder people.
See, Ayer Cut hurts because it's like...
Did you see some of the script came out? It's bad.
Oh, no, like, all of the stuff with the villains is bad. Like, I just want the rest of the movie treated.
Whoever rewrote the script to give us the Suicide Squad movie they got should win a fucking an Academy Award.
Oscar.
Because that script, the couple pages I think Ayer himself actually put some out. I don't know if they're all from him. I don't think they were doctored. I'm pretty sure they're actual script pages. It was very, very,
was it
very
on Twitter?
bad. Yeah.
It could have had a blue check mark and been an $8 check mark.
It was before all this. It was very bad. So whoever.
Well, that doesn't make it the Ayer Cut. That just makes it a previous version of the script for this.
Yeah,
movie.
but that's probably what got axed. A lot of that stuff probably got axed. And I'm sorry, I am absolutely punishing myself. Every week I go through and do I rebag and board some of my old comics, and I do inventory on my old collection. This has been a COVID project that I started to finally get through all my old books, and I'm almost done actually.
What letter are you on?
But I'm in S's. I'm most of the way through the S's.
So let us know when you're through that, and then we'll know that you're close to the end.
No, I actually am. I'm like, yeah. No, B's. I have like spots where I'm like, it's like A's, B's, F's and G's are really long for me because of Flashing Green Lantern. There's so like Green Lantern's like 4 boxes worth.
J's.
Like so J's very long. Yeah. And then I'm like LMNOPQR. It's like 1 box. Well, Legion is off. Yeah. I have Legion in its own section. I'm doing my chronological reading of Legion right now. I am I maybe got 3 or 4 episodes of Legends of Tomorrow, season 6 to watch. It is fucking the most. It is
Why?
so bad.
Why are you still watching? I stopped. I stopped.
It is.
When I cut cable and we moved, I was just like, nope, I'm done. Bye. I'm out.
God, I used to love Legends.
Oh, we used to, yeah.
Boy, this last season is. It's painful. It is just painful. It's so bad. So no, there will not be any more Legends tomorrow. No. Oh, yes. Oh no, but it's worse than Flash. It is way worse than Flash. Flash is bad, but at least he's the Flash occasionally. Like this is bad. This is just bad. Start to finish, every episode, beginning to end, is terrible. Do you know what they did with Constantine? Like, because they were supposed to be like the Justice League Dark movie, so they had to pull Constantine from the show. So they keep the actor, but they make him someone else. He plays a different character. It's awful. It's awful. The whole show is unwatchable. But yeah, sorry, no, nothing anyone is hashtagging on Twitter will happen at DC. Thank you, James Gunn, for being very, very nice.
But what if I'm hashtagging Mr.
People,
Mind?
But you that he better fucking get to. Like, don't tease me with that. Look, Legends had its time. The Ayer cut's long and done. It's the time of Mr. Mind now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's talk of we were getting some look at this 10-year plan soon, because obviously they want to let stockholders know if that Warner Discovery is not going to. If it's like a leaked
photo of a fucking whiteboard, I'm going to murder people. Murder people.
No, this isn't 5G. So.
Oof.
Let me get the full quote here from Hollywood Reporter. There was more talk with David Zaslav too about some of the plans for DC.
That's the opposite from Gunn, right? Like that's the more producer stuff, like part.
David Zaslav.
Yeah.
He's the CEO.
Oh, okay.
He's the CEO of Warner Brothers. He's Warner Discovery. He was the head of Discovery that bought Warner.
Oh, okay.
So he's the head. He said, yeah, they are coming close to the end of finishing their Bible for DC. So this is the outline and the roadmap of all the characters and plots going forward. Again, I believe it's like a 10-year plan, which is typical about what the MCU did in the first.
Once they decided to do it, yeah.
When they figured out what they were going to do, yeah. This is a quote from Hollywood Reporter. He says, "I think over the next few years, you're going to see a lot of growth and opportunity around DC. There's not going to be 4 Batmans," Zaslav said. And so part of a strategy is to drive the hell out of DC with James and Peter. I forget the other guy's name. Peter Safran. He's the other. He's the co-head of DC Films or DC Studios. What James and Peter are going to do, I think they've thrilled the fans. They're going to thrill you over a period of time. So, yeah, there is. I don't know if it's going to be Ben Affleck, but they're going to lock in Batman. I don't know what the Batman. I don't know where that goes.
Well,
I don't know what Batman is going to be in the Batman the Animated Series cartoon. If they want cartoon movie alignment, if they want everything. So,
well, I think the issue is like you just need to let it lie, right? Like the Batman, if you have something and they're gonna do 3 movies, then fine, give us 3. The Batman, Matt Reeves, like those are Matt Reeves Batman. We had Christopher Nolan Batman, we had Tim Burton Batman. You know, we unfortunately had more Neon Schumacher Batman, right? But like those are fine, but if you're going to establish kind of a universe going forward, then establish it and go. Don't worry about the cartoons and stuff. Like whatever the cartoons are doing is whatever the cartoons are doing.
I mean, look at What If, right? That's part of the MCU.
Yeah, but like how many people are really behind What If? Like,
no, trust me, I would love Batman the Animated Series to be its own thing. I would like them to do I mean, look, they're not going to rid it like Teen Titans Go, at least I don't think. You know, things like that will exist. They're not part of the DC universe. So, and there are other Marvel things that are like the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon that they did, like that's not part of the MCU. Like that's its own thing. It's based on it, right? They've had this Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon running pretty regularly. Like that's not part of the MCU. So those are all separate, but they're yeah. I would not like it if every animated thing is part of the DC universe, because it's going to be stuff for kids. They're going to want they're going to want products for every age group. So no, but yeah, sure. You want to do you want to do a random animated, I don't even know. I can't think of anything. Animal Man. You want to do an animated Animal Man movie? Yeah, sure. Whatever. That's part of the DC universe. Okay. That's cool. Like whatever, I guess. Like, but no, I'd prefer the animated stuff to kind of be.
Come on though. A live action Animal Man movie?
Oh, sure. I'll take everything, right? But I don't need I don't need 15 TV shows and 12 movies and 5 animated series a year that are all connected.
Mm-hmm.
No, give me something unique, Look, I don't mind some of it being connected. I don't mind a lot of it being connected, but I don't need it all to be connected. Like you could do some unique stuff. Like there's ways to, there's ways to do this. It's fine. People are not stupid. Well, most people are not stupid.
Yes.
One more story before we get out of here. We got a little bit of things to talk about here at the end, but I think we did loosely touch on this, but it's time for an official topic. It was such a major part of the podcast for the summer, so we should now actually
acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it, because our last few episodes kind of went off the rails a little bit.
No.
Finally, Netflix has greenlit a second season of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman.
Speaking of smart things to do.
So here we go. Finally.
Season of Mists. I cannot wait.
So yeah. So we are going to get I don't know, another 10 episodes, maybe. I don't think they've said. I think they've.
Well, isn't this where we would get because this is a Game of You, right?
Yeah,
it's Game of You and Season of Mists, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So technically, this would be stuff with Barbie.
Yeah, because Dream Country was we got parts of Dream Country,
yes,
which were the one shots.
Yes.
So we do not, which was we got Calliope and we got the Dream of a Thousand Cats.
Dream of a Thousand Cats. Yeah.
So there is the Dream Country has, of course, the Midsummer's Night Dream.
Yes,
which
should be
one of the best.
Which should be a really long, solid episode or a two-parter.
I believe Midsummer Night Dream should be a feature-length movie special. A feature-length movie special.
Yep.
And Facade, which is the Element Girl issue, again, it's a one-shot with Death. I would very, very much like to see that.
Do they also include August in there with Julius Caesar?
No, I think that's later. There's two. Isn't there two? Yeah, isn't that Fables and Reflections?
That might be Fables and Reflections, because there's like the Emperor of the United States, and there's August. I know those are two more.
Yeah. Well, the Prez one that's later. That's in World's End.
Yeah.
That's later in the series. So this should be Game of You and maybe Fables and Reflections. I don't know if they're gonna go all that far. I mean, they could do it in 4, I guess. So we got part of Dream Country. Season of Mist and Game of You. Yeah, sorry, Season of Mist and Game of You. Season of Mist. I mean, I guess spoilers, but if you saw the end of Sandman, you know that
Lucifer
is going back to Dream's going back to hell. So we get to see what happens there. I think Game of You is the continuation of Barbie's story and her
The cuckoo.
That fantasy.
Yeah, the cuckoo and the oh god,
World
why
that
am I?
she-
We talked about this during the episode,
I know.
and I forgot it already.
I know we were talking. I can
It's like
totally
the
could not
cuckoo
remember
and the
what they call that.
Oh my
beast.
god,
Yeah,
why?
yeah,
Son
yeah.
of a
It's a
bitch.
continuation. It's a continuation of that story and her whole
damn it.
dream. You can look it up.
I'm doing it right now.
So yep. Well, Brock gets that.
Oh
so,
god, it's gonna bother the shit out of me
yeah.
because we literally
Martin
just talked
Tenbones.
about it like
It just came to be Martin Tenbones.
Martin Tenbones. Yes, like there's
Yeah,
Martin
yes,
Tenbones,
like-
but it's like
Yeah,
what is this one?
the big lion thing. Yep.
Well,
so
it
that,
also introduces Thessaly, and we also have Wanda, so those will be good introductions. The cuckoo.
Yeah, again,
hold on.
more minor characters that
The Herogram.
have-
The Hierogram. Is that it? Yeah.
Sandman's very good about introducing a random kind of minor character like Barbie.
Yeah.
In the previous episodes, really she's there, but she doesn't really have much of they don't really
Yeah.
get too involved in their story. But then becomes a much bigger part
Mhm.
later. Thessaly is one of those characters that gets I would say minor, but she's part of that story, but then obviously becomes more important later. So yeah, be very excited for Sandman, of course.
The thing is Hazel comes back from Hazel and Foxglove come back from the diner, right? It's the
which
the lesbian girl that's arguing with her partner.
They changed that in the. Don't they change that in the?
No, the diner.
the
She's
show,
still
the girl?
with a girl.
She's talking with
She talks with Rose because it's the connection with Rose. But like Rose still has a connection because of Barbie. Rose's connection increases because of Barbie. Remember, she's the vortex, and so things start to come around her. So that's how they kind of connect. But it's Hazel and Foxglove from the diner. You didn't see, I think, Foxglove.
Yeah, I forget which one's. I forget which one's
Yeah,
which. Yeah, but the girl from the diner.
Yeah.
The girl from the diner.
So she comes back in this and plays a little bit more of a role. So that was one of the things I liked, I think, really about the Sandman series itself, was it introduced a lot of these characters that kind of you would go, okay, cool, and then randomly they would be in the next one but insignificant, but more significant to that story. But yeah, it was really it's an interesting one, especially with where the Porpentine. Got it. Jeez, I hate Porpentine. Going to the monolith called the Hierogram or whatever it is. Yeah. But all good stuff. Everybody needs to be reading.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Very excited for more Sandman. So this seems like they could maybe do it in 4 seasons. So I think that'd be all right. If they could do it in 4, that'd be fine. I would, obviously.
Oh wait, Game of You is 5? Wait, what was 3? Wait, what was 3?
The Order of the Graphic Novels?
Yeah. Maybe I'm off in which one it is. Maybe it is.
Prelude and Nocturnes, Volume 1 through 8. Doll's House is 9 through 16.
Yes.
Dream Country is 17 through 20. That's the
that's the collection of the little ones. So they would do they would do Season of Mists and then Game of You, but interspersed Dream Country stuff.
I would assume if because they did half of Dream Country in season 1 as the special, so my assumption is you mimic that and you do half of Dream Country, the other half of Dream Country as a special for season in between season Miss Game of You. Fables and Reflections would be the random book, so Brief Lives of World End, Fables and Reflections. You could mix that in between, and then Kindly One in the Lake. So. And then maybe Overture. Then maybe you could do Overture, which does the flashback. That could be
Well, yeah, because no, you also have World's End.
That's what I said. Yeah, Brief Lives and World End. Fables and Reflections is the other collection.
Yeah, it's the other collection that you would intersperse between Brief Lives, World End, Kindly Ones in the Wake.
Kindly Ones in the Wake.
Okay.
Right.
And then Overture, you're right, would be if you wanted to do something
they get like a special.
Yeah.
They could do like a special like season 0. Go back and do that. So that'd be cool. Yeah, very excited for Sandman. Very, very excited for Sandman.
Well, I gotta figure out who the casting director is because I gotta put in my reel for Destruction. I'm gonna do it.
You got the hair for it.
I got the hair. I got the beard. I can walk and read at the same fucking time. Like, this is like, come on, man.
I'm gonna guess they're gonna cast a 6'8" Scottish guy to play.
I'll wear extension. I'll wear heels. Like, I don't care.
While you are, we are reasonably tall men. We are not. You are not destruction tall.
Yeah, but you don't need to be destruction tall. Well, I can stand on I can stand on a stool, or you can make like the floor weird to make me look bigger. Whatever they do at that museum or that tech place in San Francisco.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
All right,
I'm gonna do it.
Well, that is a wonderful.
We don't have any questions. Nothing.
No, I don't think so.
No emails. We want to just go into the back and just.
We're all good. I gotta post this.
Oh, I do get to announce that the Nerds Without Pants Horizon Forbidden West special is out. That I was on with Julian Titus and his co-host. So you can go check that out. That is now live. So yeah. So if you want to go hear me chat it up about a video game that I sunk 200 and some odd hours of my life into, and I'm still going.
Fun. Yeah, I got nothing else. This Geekbox next week. So yeah, we had Geekbox last week. Every other week.
How is Geekbox? How is that?
It's perfectly fine. Me and Rand Scott talked about a bunch of nerdy shit last week, just like we have every week for like 13 years, 14 years. How long have we been doing this?
The Geekbox was like 13 because it was like 2 years until you were like, "Fuck, there's so much comic stuff to talk about."
Yeah.
And then you were like, "Why did I make another podcast I have to be on to talk about comic book stuff that I talk about all day with people?"
Just record myself at the store and then just post that as a podcast.
Just live stream the store.
Yeah.
Just hire an editor so if there's like swearing, you can bleep it.
Just cut it out.
Just cut it out.
Well, thank you to all our Patreon backers that are stuck with us through thick and thin, through all this nonsense, good or bad. Joe Duff, Kelsey May, Craig Anderson at clearpathcoaches.com, Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast, and Talon Bray. Thank you all very much, and the support of everyone else that backs us at patreon.com/comic conspiracy. Kick us a couple bucks a month if you would please. We do appreciate it. Helps support this podcast. Helps give Brock and the other guys some credit at the store. So they use their Patreon money to pick up some comics to keep them hooked. So
God, it's an addiction.
Charlie gives Charlie some money to buy his omnibuses every month. Head over to comicconspiracypodcast.com.
I saw Charlie in the flesh.
Yeah. Head over to Comic Conspiracy Podcast and Apple.com. Oh, sorry, an Apple Podcast. Sorry, comicconspiracypodcast.com and Apple Podcast for all our previous episodes. You can go to comicsconspiracy.biz to pick up some physical products for us. I will live check here.
Oh, Jesus.
We've blown past 10,000 items on discount on our page. Let me see. Wait, 9,938. We're so close. So close to 10,000 items half off on our website. Comics Conspiracy.
So much stuff.
You can visit Brock's website at conspiratybrock.com and he'll get some stuff up there when he's got the time. Who has the time anymore?
I don't know.
Charlie's on a 1-year hiatus till the next Doctor Who, but that doesn't stop them from recording Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast, where they talk about Doctor Who. I think they go monthly.
I think they're on monthly once it
breaks.
On a break, yeah.
Yep. Break of episodes. And there's always weekly interview series, a couple between the panels at fanbasepress.com. That is the Eisner Award nominated fanbasepress.com. The Kevin Sharp interviews big and small creators of every every size, shape, and
Yep.
form over at Between the Panels. And my wife Leanne's website is leannehill.com. She's at etsy.com/shop/LeanneHillArt. Now, if you were on Twitter, I don't know what to tell you. Good luck with that. We still technically have Twitter accounts.
Yeah, we still have Twitter accounts.
Technically follow us.
I'm on there somewhat just to watch.
Brock is Brock Sager.
Stuff
He is still on there. Toby is Toby XI. Toby never posts on there. Much like Bryce at Larson Bryce, he'll reply 6 months after you say something to him. Charlie's at Insanity and Chaos. I don't believe he tweets very often. Kevin is at that Kevin Sharp, and he tweets a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know how much he's tweeting these days. The store, Comics Con store, tweets occasionally, but it's not automated. It's automated and not. I don't read tweets. I don't read replies to that account, so it's just auto post stuff that I do for all the store accounts. I am at Ryan Higgins Ryan. You can follow me, but I will not be using Twitter anytime in the foreseeable future. I did mess around with Mastodon for a little bit, and not really a Twitter replacement. It's interesting, but not really there. The new one, Nerd Twitter, has moved en masse to Hive.
Oh, yes.
Social media called Hive. It is 75% Twitter, 25% Instagram. Now look, there is I'm at Ryan Higgins, just at Ryan Higgins.
Brock Sager.
Brock is at Brock Sager. We've jumped on there.
You know who followed me first?
Who followed you first?
Mitch Gerards.
Nice. I
got a whole bunch of comic creators that followed me back, and I was like,
great,
right, cool.
Yep. Starting fresh.
Yeah.
Starting over. Everyone can you can start this whole thing, this whole ball and chain all over again. Now,
it's buggy.
Well, so look, it is new. It's actually not super new, but it is new enough. There are a lot of people using it. It is going to have its problems, and there is the not off chance that by the time we talk to you next, the service may no longer exist. This is the Wild West of
social media,
where we're going back to the crazy old days where nobody knows what anything is anymore. It hasn't settled into 3 or 4 platforms run by billionaires.
Although I will say this,
so
Hive has an edit button.
It does.
And it is fucking glorious.
Yeah, Hive is far from perfect, but we'll see what happens. See if they get brought up in the next week, and hopefully they get some funding and they can actually make this thing work. We'll see what happens.
I mean, it's definitely a $44 billion company. Let me tell you.
Follow me at Hive at Ryan Higgins. Yes. Of course, you can. And what I am doing on my Twitter account is the only time I am using it is to post at my next social media site. So if Hive does not work, I will then tell you on Twitter where I am going next when people en masse leave and go to a new place. So this is going to be social media for a while. Like, I don't really use Facebook except for work stuff.
I only use Facebook really to messenger a couple people, and that's literally my roommate. My roommate and I live together, and we don't text. We message on Messenger.
I have a couple people on Messenger that I talk to. Some work stuff's on there. Comic Hub, the support groups on there. So
I only go on Facebook. I use Facebook to go click a Zencaster link.
Yeah.
What our topic?
I just don't use Facebook very regularly. I don't use Instagram at all. I hate Instagram. It's just I'm not. Images are meaningless to me without text. Look. This is my thing with comics. I love the pictures, but I need the text. Right, the text is more important to me. So look, I need the text. Twitter works for me, not Instagram. I never really did. Tumblr. I just never. I mean, LiveJournal back in the day, but I never really did Tumblr. So Hive, let's just check it out. Let's see if it works. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll suck. Who knows? It hasn't fallen apart yet. They're past 1 million subscribers.
It's buggy. So. It's got its learning curves, but
it's slow. But it's just Twitter. It's Twitter with a couple changes. So seems good for me. That's all I need. We'll see if
it helps oust somebody from Twitter, I'm good with it.
Yeah. I
especially since he really made it personal with that. I always butcher the artist's name.
Fucking good luck.
What?
What was that?
The Milo Manara. Yeah, Milo Manara. Like he made it personal with that bullshit.
I didn't see the tweet, but I saw something happened with Milo Manara.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like he just uses a sim image in one of his tweets, like whatever. So yep, that's it. All of nerd Twitter is on
going to Hive, and it seems
right
like
now all the comic people, all the gaming people, all the nerd people are over there right now. Will it get some of the big regular Twitter people over there? You know,
it could.
George K. You know, some of those big viral Twitter accounts. I don't know. Was Neil Gaiman going? I don't know.
Well, I think Neil went to Mastodon.
Yeah. He's been on Mastodon pretty regularly. And like I said, I like the idea of Mastodon as we were talking about this before the podcast, but for everyone out there, it's a location/interest based blog. So I like the open blog so you can read what everyone else writes on your own server. So I like that idea. It's just not a Twitter replacement. People were trying to force it to be a Twitter replacement, and it's just not.
Yeah.
So it's a cool idea. I think if you like Tumblr, but you want something a little bit more adult, not adult, but mature, and something a little bit more compartmentalized.
It seemed to me
Mastodon's
very like
a cool idea.
Here's this room. Here's this room. Here's this. Like,
well, that's how the servers work. It's not meant to be one massive giant server where you follow everyone. It's meant to be these little compartmentalized areas for specific interests or specific locations. Like I'm on the SF Bay Area one, which is great because it's all Bay Area people. So that's a cool idea. It's just not Twitter. It's just not a Twitter replacement. So that's what I was looking for.
And for those of you who will be in San Francisco this weekend, I believe you might be able to catch either Ryan or myself at a little thing called Fan Expo.
Oh, yep, Fan Expo in San Francisco. If you're going to be up there, I'll be there Saturday. Brooke, you're Sunday.
I'm Sunday.
You're
yeah.
up Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going for the whole. Yep. I'm probably going to be there most of the day.
Yeah, we'll be wandering around. If you go to Fan Expo, come hit us up.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm hitting up Mitch Gerards and Tom King, going, "Hello,
nice.
You've signed a ton of stuff for me."
Well, that is it. Thank you all very much. Have a good Thanksgiving,
yes,
and we will see you next week.